Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that Magician card. Wow. Beautiful, right? This is the sort of, well, this is one of the most powerful cards of the tarot. I was going to say the best, but, you know, I guess it depends on your attitude. You're someone who has, I think, a lot of skill. That you know a great many things. You probably speak more than one language. You know a lot of facts. You know a lot of technical things. You probably are some sort of engineer, or you're someone that really has to use your intelligence in life, right? For work or whatever it is. You have a way of applying your knowledge to your life, right? And that is something I think a lot of us sort of forget about, right? That it's easy to sort of learn things. It's easy to sort of, you know, acquire facts and acquire skills and sort of knowing how to do things. But how do we then incorporate all of that into life? How do we use that? How do we use our skill to adapt to our to adapt to our surroundings? Adapt to our environment? This is the card of adaptation. This is the card of knowing why you're here, right? Knowing who you are. This is someone that has worked through a lot of the karma that we talk about. Worked through a lot of, you know, it's the result of the spiritual work, becoming the best magician that we can be. Everybody is a magician. Some of us are sort of better at it than others. Some of us have perfected our magician energy a little bit more than others. But it's the result of the spiritual work. Every time we are aware of one of our buttons and we sort of start working on that, anytime we start unraveling some knots of karma, we're figuring out where our sore spots are, we're sort of understanding what our weaknesses are, so that we can build them up, but really we're understanding what our strengths are so that we can maximize those strengths and take advantage of those strengths, what we're good at, right? It's like finding out that you have this talent for something and saying, well, that's what I'm going to focus on then. You know, why am I spending all this time trying to become a visual artist, right? Like for me, I suck at drawing, right? Why would I spend my time trying to learn how to draw and becoming a great artist so that I can, you know, follow that path and succeed at doing that when I don't have any natural talent for, you know, drawing with, you know, a pen or something. But I do have a natural talent for something else, let's say, perhaps, you know, maybe it's I play the drums, maybe it's drums, maybe it's tarot, I don't know. But to understand who you are and what you're made of, applying your efforts to those strengths to really maximize and capitalize on those skills and talents that you have, okay? But at the same time, you know, we do have to work on those weaknesses. We have to unravel those knots of karma so that we can become the best magician that we can be, and we can then continue the work of creating ourselves, creating our lives. We are the architect of our own reality. All right, let's see where this card's taking you. There's a lot in this Magician card. It's a very complex card, okay? We've got to see a little bit about your circumstances and your surroundings, okay? Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good circumstance, pretty good surroundings. This is material success. So again, you're applying your skills and talents to what's going to bring you the benefits now, the success now, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you know what you're good at and start doing that? At the same time, working on sort of building up things that we're not so good at and trying to evolve and grow in a sort of a spherical way, as a whole, But it makes perfect sense that we would take advantage of what we are good at. Anyway, let's keep going. 6 of Pentacles, very nice. Knight of Wands underneath. 6 of Cups too. Oh, that's good. I have a 3. Yeah, a 3 of Swords makes sense. A 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Here we have the ambitious energy, the very fiery, ambitious energy of the Knight of Wands with our Magician. And if we apply ourselves to certain things, we get this. If we apply ourselves to the wrong things, we get that. So it's like this is sort of the path you're choosing from. Why on earth would you choose this? Well, this is important too. Okay, you got to take the good with the bad. You've got to work on your weaknesses as you are also trying to capitalize and to maximize the returns using your strengths. We're trying to become the best magician we can be and allow the divine light to flow directly through us. That divine light is showing us the good and the bad. It's showing us what we're very good at and what we're not so good at. So we can do both of these. I think right now it's sort of it's like Spirit's telling you, hey, you've got to like reap the rewards of who you are and what you're good at. You have this natural talent, do it, use it. Allow that to put food on the table. Allow that to nourish you. It's okay to focus on your strengths and to take advantage of those strengths and to use them, apply them to your life. At the same time, we got to do the karmic work. We got to untie the knots, and we got to figure out where we're still struggling so we can raise those parts of our lives up too. This is the idea of knowing what you have to contribute and doing it. Okay? And maybe there's part of you that says, yeah, but see, I really wanted to be an illustrator, but I don't have any talent for drawing, but I really want to do it. I felt that way before with drawing because I had friends, that they could think of something and they can just draw it perfectly lifelike, perfectly realistic. I'm like, how do you do that? And I wanted to do that so bad. I'm no good at it. I don't know why. I have no talent for that. I am sure I could learn the skill and be okay with it, but to actually have any sort of success or satisfaction doing it, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue here. We've got a 6. There we go. Now we've got 6, 6, and 6. Knowing what you're good at and apply, and knowing what kind of success you can achieve, and knowing the sort of happiness, the satisfaction of doing it, and having a plan to go about doing it. This is about maximizing your efforts. And I think right now Spirit's saying you've got to apply your efforts to what is going to bring you the most rewards now. Yes, we still have to work on our karma and strengthening our weaknesses, but let's focus on our strengths. Let's focus on achieving some goals now. Okay. We got another 5. See, there's always, if we get a 6, we know the 5s are there. 3 and 3 up here. This is really, and we got the Hierophant. Interesting. It's bringing you closer to your true self. It's given you, if anything, focusing on those things that you can accomplish now, focusing on those things that you're good at so that you can do them and have that satisfaction and have those rewards, right, is very encouraging, right? At the same time, it's probably giving you some good instruction about what you need to focus on otherwise, let's say in the realm of our challenges and weaknesses and those things that aren't perfect in life, you know? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to put that right over here with our little octopus friend, the Eight of Tentacles. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. See, that card's going to tie everything together at the end. It's going to give us the confirmation and the conclusion that we need. Well, let's try to predict it together. You know, let's use our intuition. All right, let's look around the room. Major arcana energies. I find this to be quite interesting that we have the Magician and the Hierophant. Okay, the Magician is about skill. It's about realizing what our talents are and figuring out how to apply those to our life in order to achieve some success. It's like you've got to exploit your own strengths, you know. And sometimes the Hierophant there is a card of of conformity. Sometimes the Hierophant is we don't like the Hierophant very much, I've noticed, you know, because the Hierophant is kind of dogmatic. It's kind of the conformity, it's the institution. It's kind of like saying, you know, this is the standard, this is the way things are done. This is who you have to be and what you have to be if you want to succeed. You know, the Hierophant is kind of that gatekeeper. It kind of is, I'm trying to think of an analogy here, but it's kind of like that. It's the energy. None of us want to sell out, you know? This is the card that kind of says, look, if you want to be successful, you got to do things a certain way. You got to follow the rules. There are standards here. And if I wanted to be an illustrator and I wanted to draw pictures for a living, I don't know what, maybe animation, I don't know. I'd have to be good at it. I'd have to draw things a certain way. I'd have to conform to the industry standards. But I'm no good at it. Right? So I can send in my little stick figures, but no one's going to hire me to do that because that's not the nature of the business. Well, I could say, hey, well, I'm going to change the nature of the business then. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to draw my stick figures. And I'm just going to keep doing it. And, you know, I'm going to put it out there on my own. I'm going to self-publish. I'm going to put it on the social media or whatever. And yeah, I could do that. And it would be a worthwhile endeavor. Sure. And I'd somehow turn that weakness, my lack of talent, into something, right? But with your sixes that you have here, and this Hierophant, sometimes it's important for us to realize where we are. What is the environment that you're in? Because we have to sort of, sometimes, and I know it sucks, sometimes we have to conform to the environment that we're in, to the rules of the game. You're playing chess here. You know, you can't just start moving the pieces any way you want. I mean, you can. And it's fun. My daughter and I do that. I'm trying to teach her how to play chess. And I say, well, these pieces, you know, the pawns can only move this way, and the bishops go diagonal, and all this. You know, the little L shape of the knights. You know, and she's just sort of bouncing them anywhere she wants. She's having little fights between them, and they're spinning around and dancing and stuff. And it's fun. It's not chess, right? But it's fun to do. And maybe we'll even one day sort of come up with our own game. You know, we'll make up our own rules, and that'll be our own game. But eventually I want her to learn the rules of chess and to be able to operate within those rules and you know, have some satisfaction playing that game. Now, I'm not going to force her to play chess, right? Just as you don't want to force yourself to conform to the rules of the life that we live, the world that we live in, the material plane, right? Maybe it's just like, well, you know, I don't want to be bound to this planet by gravity. I want to be able to fly. You know, well, you can, but it has to be within the context of those, what are the so-called laws of gravity, right? Unless we find a different, you know, it has to be within this framework. Okay, and philosophy aside, if you want to succeed right now in what you're doing, You got to sort of operate by the rules of the game. Doesn't mean you can't fly. He's got to figure out how to do it. That's the magician. The magician, you think of an illusionist or a magician on a stage, they're not violating the laws of physics, so-called laws of physics. I don't want to get into a debate about it because I don't know enough about it to debate it. But the magician on stage is not doing anything that is defying the laws of the physical plane in which we are observing those actions and behaviors and those tricks, those, illusions or whatever. But they figured out a way to do it that seems like they're violating the laws of physics, right? So you want to fly, you have to think about gravity and lift and drag and whatever else, I don't know, power and stuff. But you can still do it, right? And you have to understand that's why the magician is the one who can adapt. The magician knows the rules of the game and can optimize, can achieve whatever it wants. Sky's the limits here. There's no limit but your imagination of what you can do. You've got to figure out how to implement those ideas. You want to fly? Yeah. I can't just jump up in the air and expect to take off. I mean, maybe sometimes we can, I don't know. In dreams and lucid dreams, we can do that. In our imagination, we can do that. But if we want something that's physically, tangibly present here that we can experience through the senses, we've got to operate within the framework. We've got to figure out how to get our ideas, our will, manifested on the physical plane. I mean, you got to figure out how to get paid for it. I can draw all I want. But if I want to get paid for it, I got to figure out how to operate within the framework of that Hierophant. Okay? So anyway, we've got our two major arcana energies. We've got our fire. We've got our water. We've got air and air. And we've got earth and earth. So it's actually quite interesting what we've got here. Right? Because let's see, we've got two, and two. So we can right now either focus on, we got a duality here, don't we? We've got, let's say, choice. We could focus, like I said, on strength or weakness. We could focus on what we know is going to work now or what we can sort of struggle to fix. Right? We can struggle, we can choose between something that we know is going to be satisfying right now, or we can focus on, correcting a dissatisfaction. Right? We could focus on what is a very tangible, practical plan, ready-made, it's already here, I already got the answers, let's do it. Or we could focus on sort of the opposite, right? We could focus on the sorrow. We could focus on something that doesn't have a plan yet, we can't foresee a way to get it done, and we can struggle with it, right? So we can focus either on these very sort of positive strengths or on these more sort of negative cards. And even in terms of the fire energy, right? The Three of Wands, the virtue, right? And then the Knight of Wands is sort of just rushing off and trusting in the momentum of something, not stopping to sort of analyze the will and say, is this something that resonates with who I am fundamentally as a spiritual being? Does this situation really vibe with me philosophically? Right? Maybe it's not a time for being so philosophic right now. Maybe it's a time now for doing what we know is going to work, because we're in a situation where we need something to work. We need, whether it's money or satisfaction, or we need just some healing. We need some good days, right? And we even have that sort of dichotomy between the Hierophant and the magician. Right? Do I conform? Do I play by the rules right now and succeed? Or do I Or do I choose to follow this very unique genius that you are endowed with that may put you at odds with the Hierophant, going against the grain, challenging that Hierophant, saying, no, now's the time for me to stand up for what I believe in, even if it's going to put me at a disadvantage. And maybe this is a choice that is yours. Okay? I mean, of course it is. But it's interesting that we have two sides of things here. And I think right now with this Magician, it's Spirit saying, apply yourself to something that is going to work. Okay? Not necessarily says to take the easy road, right? But apply your energy, apply your talent, your skill, your genius, your magician energy to something that you know is tried and true, something that is going to work for you and bring you the success that you need right now. Doesn't mean you have to do this forever, right? But I think this is very important that you need to get paid. You need to have a healing moment. You need a good day. You need a little bit of joy or love or happiness. You need to follow a plan right now that you know it's gonna work. Now's the time for just following the GPS and going to your destination. Not saying, hey, let's throw the map away and let's just wing it. Let's just get lost somewhere and see what happens. No, in your life right now is necessary for you to get where you're going, to get the rewards, to get the income. It's kind of like we're not going to accept the job because of whatever reason. We disagree with it. We don't like the rules. We disagree with it fundamentally. I mean, there's a limit though, of course, and that's sort of the line that we have to find for ourselves. Where do we make that distinction? Well, that, I disagree with that in a very fundamental way. I want no part of it, even if I have to suffer. Even if I'm going to be in a 3 of Swords, 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles sort of situation, I'm not going to interact with that because it violates everything I believe in as a spiritual being, right? I mean, that's hardcore, right? So the 3 of Wands becomes the most important card here because it's you knowing yourself well enough to say, that's a line that I'm not going to cross. That's a hard limit for me. But you know that you want a good day, you want happiness, you want success, you want pleasure. You want to have the good plan to follow through to the success. You need the money, you need the good day, the healing, and we want these energies, right? And the Magician can be over here getting that, or the Magician could be kind of not getting that, right? We'll try to put these the same way as we had them in the other side of the table. We got to know where to apply our energies here. And it all is really what the Magician feels is the righteous thing to do. Someone who is standing up for, let's say, social issues that they believe in, or standing up, against the corrupt institutions of the world, right? And putting yourself at a disadvantage. And I'm not saying either path is right or wrong, but you've got this fiery energy in you. You've got this ambition. And we've got to know we can do both. Like I said, we can focus on our strengths and really maximize your strengths, and you can still take care of these weaknesses and still try to fix these things. These are things here that all need fixing, right? Mentally, emotionally, physically. Right? Mentally, emotionally, physically here. These are things that are in harmony. These are things that are good right now. Right? They're positive, they're in harmony, they're resonant, they're successful. These are things that still need some work. It's kind of like you're trying to figure out where to invest your money. Well, you can put your money into something that you know is going to give you a return every quarter or whatever, or you can put your money into some things that sort of you believe in, but they're kind of not successful. They're not either. Maybe they're mismanaged or whatever it is. You got to know where to invest this fiery energy. What are you going to put your effort into? I feel and I'm trying not to put my own personal opinions here, but it seems to me like Spirit is saying you've got to put your energy right now into what you know is going to take care of you and what is going to work for you. Because you need the financial harmony, the mental emotional harmony, right? You need the sixes, the fives, and of course the 3. These are things that need attention too. But maybe not all of your attention, or maybe not all of it right now. Because I feel like whatever's going on in your life needs, we need thought and feeling and behavior to be in harmony. Over here, the thought, the feeling, and the behavior are struggling, right? And sometimes the Hierophant is saying, well, it's time for you to choose the difficult path, the road less traveled. We're going to take the road of austerity and suffering and challenge and hardship, right? Sometimes it's better to take the hard road, right? Because there's more growth there's more learning, there's more evolution, right? Sometimes it's better to take the tried and true easy road, that is going to give you what you need at the moment. The hard road will always be there. Okay. This is weird. I gotta say, this is a strange reading. Okay, we have such a split here, and even with these, everything is sort of split. And this is your uniqueness. This is your personal genius, right? And this is sort of conformity, right? And this is what you believe in morally, let's say, right? Ethically, your principles and values. And this is just kind of saying, I'm an opportunist. Whatever I see out there that I can do, I'm gonna do it. This is, not opportunist in a bad way, but the Knight of Wands is the one that's like, you got a job, I'm willing to do anything, Whatever it is, I just need something that's sort of stable right now. I gotta link up with a job or something, as an example. Whereas this one is kind of, in a way, the shadow side is going to say, oh, cleaning toilets? Oh, I'm not going to do that, right? That's beneath me. Knight of Wands saying, I'll do anything. I'll shovel, bovine excrement if I need to, because we're not above the any kind of work, And so every card has light and shadow. I think that's kind of the point here, that Spirit's not making the decision for you. Tarot's not going to tell you what to do. I sure as heck am not going to tell you what to do. I've at times chosen both of these paths. Okay, and I don't think it's that black and white. I don't think it's necessarily that you're choosing one and you're not going to be able to choose the other. Of course, the Knight of Wands has to commit to something, right? And again, the Knight of Wands is that energy that says, I'll take any job you have. I just need a little bit of stability and harmony. I need a little bit of money. I gotta have some sort of a plan here, and so that's the sort of dichotomy that we have here. Okay, but I don't think that it's necessarily this mutually exclusive, that you're capitalizing on your strengths and ignoring the weaknesses. No, you're putting your energy into here, what you know is going to work. It's going to bring you satisfaction. It's going to bring you the stability and the harmony in your physical, financial world. There's already sort of a plan. It's kind of like I can buy, I don't know, let's say, what is it? I can buy something that's already built, right? I can buy a computer, right? Or I could sit here and try to figure out how computers work and how to build one myself. And I've, back in the day, I've built computers, personal computers. You put the motherboard in, the fans, power supply. Put in your video cards and your hard drives and stuff, and you just screw it all together and plug it in, and it works. But depending on your situation, do you have time to really do that? you know? Or it's just like, I just need something that works. And I'll tell you something, I'm going to probably make myself very unpopular here, okay? Right now, currently, I feel like this is Android and this is Apple, okay? I was the biggest Android like fanboy for the longest time. I loved Android, right? Because you could customize it. Because you could hack into it, you could put different like operating systems, you know, on it. You could flash it and you can tweak it out as much as you wanted. It was just infinite possibilities, so much customizing, so much cool stuff that it could do. But there came a point in my life where I needed something a little bit more simple. Not that Apple is simple, but something that out of the box, it just works. You know, because I don't have the time to go through and hack into the phone and do all that stuff. I love to do it, and it was so much fun. When the first Android phones came out, oh, I loved it. And for years, I was all Android. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but for me, this is the dichotomy that you're in right now. Okay? I still have just as much love for Android as I do for Apple. I think they're both wonderful products. The technology just blows my mind, how awesome it is. I don't have the time to do all that customizing that you can do with Android. I don't have the desire really to make it so unique and to really build it up and to put that much effort into it. I need something works, out of the box, good to go, can do what I need it to do because I'm a busy boy. I got this YouTube channel to do, you know. I feel like this is the energy that you're in anyway. And there's the reason for this special update bonus reading because I feel that this is kind of, I don't know, this is a special one. This is a weird, sort of different reading. Yeah. Well, we still have the mystery card, so let's look at the mystery card. I wonder if this is going to give us a little bit of a push or a nudge in either direction. I don't really want to make a prediction. You know? I don't want to appear biased. And maybe I already do. I apologize for that. I don't mean to. Let's just see what we have. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. I want you to predict something. And just let it flow. First thing that comes to your mind, write it down, put it in the comments or whatever, say it out loud. Because I want to see that when this card comes out, if your choice reveals your bias, you know. Well, let's see. Let's just see what we have. A Queen of Cups. Nope. No bias here. This is you figuring it out. It's water on water. This is a card that's sort of looking at things, looking at the past, looking within, being very honest with ourselves, right? It's emotional transparency. That we're looking deep within and we're just saying, what do I really need right now? What do I really want? Do I want something that's sort of quicker? It's ready-made, you know, or do I have time to really focus on building something up and putting a lot of effort into something before it's going to bring me any fruit, right? Over here, it's sort of the idea of do I have time and do I have the will and the desire to plant my fruit tree and nourish it and make it grow and then eat the apple? Or do I just need to eat something today? And I can go and buy an apple. An apple, a fruit, not like a pear or peach or something, right? And that's the Queen of Cups, trying to really understand, what do I need right now? And I think that's what Spirit is trying to get you to do, is to come to a realization, or to look at your life right now, look at yourself and your needs. What is it that you need most right now? It felt to me during the reading that what you need most is some healing, is some health, is some, you know, the financial stability, some heart. You need some peace and some harmony. You don't need to struggle anymore, right? So maybe right now, yeah, take the easy road. But it's obviously your choice, okay? Queen of Cups. We're going to do an extended reading if you want to stick around, and I think you should. There's a link in the corner. There is one down below. New readings for Sagittarius, usually Wednesdays and Sundays. Again, this was a special reading. I felt like this was something that we needed to talk about, you know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories as well, if you're into that sort of thing. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Let me know how you're doing. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.